Good morning, everyone. We're continuing with the laws of evil speech. Hope everyone had a nice Yontiv and uplifting Sukkos. Let's get right back into it, studying the laws of Lashon Hara. We're in Hilchos Rechilus, Klal Tes, Sif Vav. We're talking about now what happens if you have a friend and you find that he's in a partnership with somebody who is not an honest person. So usually we're not allowed to speak evil about somebody else, but when it comes to helping someone, when we're speaking evil about another for a constructive purpose, in our case it's to warn our friend that the person he's in a partnership with is not so honest. If you have 5 conditions which we mentioned, then you can tell him. The 5 conditions, just to review again, is that you have to contemplate the information is accurate, what this person did. Maybe he stole from your partner, so you have to, the partner stole from your friend, so you have to contemplate that the information is accurate and what he did was actually prohibited. 2, you can't exaggerate. 3, your intent has to be to help your friend and not because you want to get revenge on this person or hurt him. Number 4, there's no other way to help your friend without revealing this information. And number 5, there won't be damage to the person that you're speaking about, this business partner. So we're talking about condition number 5, and last time we learned that now when you reveal this information, it depends what kind of person your friend is. If your friend is the type that when you tell him this negative information about his partner, he's going to take it under advisement and he's going to be careful in the future, then you're allowed to tell him. However, we said if your friend is like a hothead, and he's going to believe what you said right away, and let's say, he said, I think your partner might have stolen from you, and you should be careful in the future, and he's going to go take back, the money that you claim that the partner stole from him. If that's what kind of person your friend is, he's just going to act on the information you gave him right away, then you're not allowed to tell him. And we said that there's a difference if there's 2 people. That if there's you and somebody else, which means there's 2 witnesses who observe, let's say, his partner stealing from your friend, then, according to the laws of Lashon Hara, you're allowed to tell. But we're going to learn... Sorry about that. Just got a phone call in the middle of the class. That never happened. We're going to learn that even with 2 people, one is not allowed to reveal that information. So let's start with halacha vav. Ach kol zeh heted al yedei shnayim la'ish shetivu lasos ma'asav ha'atzmo ein mo rak shinatzu al yedei zeh etzem ha'isur shel diburim ha'asurim aval al kapanim memesai yedei ovri avera lo nafke sha'al yadam yaseh ha'ish shemesaprim lo davar iser ki al pi din asur lo lekabel divreim v'lasos ma'asav ha'atzmo lahafsed ha'chaver kol zman shelo ha'idu alav bebezdin v'harshu bezdin lasos kein k'muvur le'el b'chal vav sif tes sif vav. He says that very often in an action, there could be various prohibitions in the Torah that apply to a specific action. So what are we doing here? Me and somebody else and I, are going to our friend and saying, your business partner stole from you and you have to be careful in the future. So what is this person going to do? What is our friend going to do? He's going to go and grab the money back. So while it's not a prohibition of Lashon Hara for us to reveal this information to our friend, nevertheless, it's a prohibition of helping someone do a sin, because our friend is not allowed to go grab back the money that we claim that he stole from him unless we testify in court and the court orders him that he's allowed to do that. You can't just go and make judgments by yourself and act on them. They have to be through a bezdin. In similar cases to this, they have to be through a rabbinical court, and the rabbinical court has to rule that, yes, we believe that so-and-so stole from you based on the evidence, and you can go and get it back. So even though there's 2 people here that we witnessed this person's business partner steal from our friend, we're not allowed to go and tell him if he's the type of person that will act on the information without going to court. Well, even though there's no prohibition of Lashon Hara, there's a prohibition of helping someone sin by helping our friend take justice into his own hands. So practically, it's very hard to find a case where even with 2 people, you're allowed to warn your friend that someone was stealing from him when he's the type of person who's very rash and does things on his own. It's very hard to get all the 5 conditions. So it's very hard for, even if you think you saw the business partner steal from him, it's very hard to know all of the situation and to know for sure that the partner violated a Torah law and he stole, and you know all the details. And this is just general in Lashon Hara, when we speak Lashon Hara in general. It's very, very difficult, for you to know all of the information, for it to be 100% accurate. That's to the point where someone can go and act on it to take justice into his own hands. In Lashon Hara, we have to be very careful because sometimes we think we see something a certain way, and it wasn't that way at all. You don't have to he says, and therefore, one has to be very careful to reveal information to the type of person who is very rash and will act by himself without checking in with anybody, without going to a bezdin, for this reason. So we had that in summary, we had a lot of details here. If it's the type of person who is not rash and he's going to listen to what you say and all he's going to do is protect himself, maybe he'll investigate it to see was his business partner cheating on him. If you have the 5 conditions that we mentioned earlier, then you're allowed to tell him. However, if he's the type of person who's very rash and that as soon as you tell him this information, he's going to go steal back from his partner, then even if you have several witnesses, you're not allowed to relay that information. Okay, halacha zayin. V'hu adin le'inyan legalos la'echad ma she'acher gazlu o azika o shum ra ki yotze b'zeh ein mutar ad she'yishlemu kol hapratim hanal. This is also true if you want to tell somebody that so-and-so stole from him or he damaged him. I know who damaged your car. I know who stole from you. I know who stole your Amazon package. V'gam ochichu mitchila v'lo kibel dvarv. Aval b'lav hachi aser k'mo shekasavnu le'el b'chlal aleph sif gimel ayin sham. You're not allowed to tell a person if someone stole from him, if someone damaged him, unless you rebuked the person first. Right? We're talking about a case where somebody stole from somebody else or he damaged his car. So before you go and tell him that, hey, so-and-so damaged your car, you have to go to the person who did the damage first and you have to warn him, I saw what you did, you really have to pay him back. Only if he says, oh, forget about it, I'm not going to listen to you, then you're allowed to reveal it to him. And it sounds like also, if he's the type of person that you're revealing it to, that he's going to go act on his own without going to a rabbinical court, then you're not allowed to reveal it to him. He says one has to be very, very careful to contemplate if he's got all of the conditions. If he has all of the conditions that we mentioned, and to think that this is a time that I'm allowed to speak Lashon Hara. People are often very ready and very, as soon as they think they have a little bit of permission to speak Lashon Hara, they go do it, but they don't sit and they don't contemplate all of the different details involved. Okay, halacha ches. V'da de'ein shum chilik b'chol zeh haklal shegasavnu bein im chaver shoel v'darish meito shiyomer lo ubein lomer lo me'atzmo dimishmu kol hapratim sheb'chol zeh afilu im ein darish meito davar gam kem tzarich lahagalo v'im lo yishmu hapratim asur b'chol gavna. So in all of these cases that we have, there's no difference if your friend is asking you or if you tell him on your own. Sometimes someone might know that you have some information that's relevant to him, so he says, oh, please tell me, please tell me, please tell me. That doesn't make any difference. If you have all the conditions, then you should tell it to him whether he asks you or not. And if you don't have the conditions, you shouldn't repeat it to him at all. Okay. Halacha tes. V'da'od. Furthermore, detzarach lizar b'chalei lo pratim sheb'chal zeh afilu im lo yirtze rak l'sapar inyan la'acherim d'zeh gam kim b'chal rechilus hu u'k'mosh kasavnu la'el b'chelik zeh b'chal gimel siv gimel. Also, we mentioned earlier that it doesn't matter if you're telling it to the person himself who was damaged. Let's say so-and-so damaged your friend's car. It doesn't matter if you tell your friend or if you tell another random person. It's also it's prohibited even if you're telling another person. If you're not allowed to tell your friend, you're not allowed to tell other people. So again, just to summarize, if your friend is in a business relationship with somebody and you know that that person is dishonest, if your friend is the type of person who will heed your words in a rational way and will just protect himself for the future, and you have all of the 5 conditions, you could tell him. However, if your friend is the type of person who acts rashly and will just take justice into his own hands, and he believes that he stole from him, he'll steal back. You're not allowed to do that. Also, the same halacha applies if someone stole from somebody or someone damaged someone. You need all of the conditions, and you need to warn the person who did the stealing or did the damage before you act. And there's no difference if the person asks you to share the information or he doesn't. And also, one is not allowed to one's not allowed to even tell other people what happened. It doesn't make a difference if it's that person or other people. So we did a lot today. If you have any questions, please feel free to send me a message.